It'll be one to go this time by. Coming to the green, buddy. Coming to the green. Let's go get him. Go, go, go. Dig, dig, dig. Go, 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 go.
Get your motor running. Head out on the highway.
Tom, then Jay. Go ahead.
Jack, Tom Jensen, SpeedTV.com. 99 team obviously has been hot all year. The 18, the 48, the 9 have been hot sometimes. Can you assess your team's readiness for a championship run with the NASCAR's playoff round coming up? Do you how strong do you feel heading into the chase this year?
Well, I think that it's important to win races, and that's the thing that will separate people as we start this year, the chase. It's important not to have component failures. It's important to race with great enthusiasm, and it's important to have some luck going with you, and it's important to have structure and wisdom within the organization. And I'll look at Carl when I say this, and he may slap me. He can if he wants, but he wasn't ready to win a championship, I think, until this year. I think this year he can go head-to-head with Jimmy Johnson or with Tony Stewart or with anybody else that's there, and I think that he can. I think he can close the deal. But the championship ultimately winds up normally being determined by how well you do when things go bad. When you have to say, my car's not right, we've had a little wreck, something's happened. Do you go on a self-destruct, or do you manage to be in a frame of mind where you can go on and get the most out of it? And Matt Kenseth and Robbie Reiser did a great job, and Matt's doing a great job with Chip Bowen right now. And they and Carl and Bob are in the same league with the best of the best. And unless you've got that level of maturity and of wisdom and presence and experience gives you that. Within the organization, having a lot of speed in the car, being able to win a lot of races is not going to do it, because when things go bad, you're going to disintegrate. And Carl's going to be ready to do that this year, and I'm real confident. But I have hopes still of getting David Reagan in, which will be real exciting if that can happen. And of course, Matt and Greg will make a good accounting of themselves, too. They're in championship form. The organizations are great.
Go with Jay, then we'll go to Dave. And then over here, go ahead.
It's Jay Hart, Yahoo Sports. But Carl, you said the other day that second is as good as 20th. I mean, clearly you're not really racing for points right now. You're just racing for wins. So does that sort of, when you have this discussion with Bob on the box, is this the intensity that you're seeing? We only have so many chances to catch up to Kyle.
Yeah, you're exactly right. That's the that's the underlying root of the intensity of the arguments. I mean, is that we know. I mean, if we can go win the race, that's great. Anything other than winning, back to about 25th right now, isn't going to make a difference on our for the end of our season, as far as the results. So for us, we have to win right now, and we can't give up opportunities to win races. That was what was so heartbreaking about last week, is to finish so close to winning. And everybody, pat you on the back, says, "Man, great run," but at this point in our season, that's not what we're out to do. So we have a pretty high standard for ourselves, and sometimes that causes a little bit of little frustration. But that all changes once the chase starts. Then it's points racing,
Go David, middle here, and then back to David Poole.
Yeah, Dave Rodman, NASCAR.com for Jack. For the second consecutive weekend, we've got just a crazy race. Totally different chapter, but a crazy race. Congratulations on being here to celebrate this victory, but Matt Kenseth at one point had picked up 3 spots in the standings. At the end, the fuel strategy kills him, and he ends up dropping out of the chase at this point unofficially. So could you speak a little bit to Matt's day in comparison to what ended up with Carl and Bob?
Well, Lee Spencer asked me right in the middle of the race what I thought about what was going to happen. I said, well, I've got winners and I've got losers. I've got people who stayed and people who came, and we'll see how it works out. There isn't a correct answer so far. And from where Matt was and where Chip was, and the fact that they didn't have, for whatever reason, their car didn't have the fuel mileage that the 99 did, and for everything we could see, it should have had, but it was down a couple of tenths of a mile per gallon, and it wasn't as close for them. It wasn't as clear a shot for them that they could make it. It took more cautions than it took for the 99 to be able to do what they were able to do, and Chip made the decision not to do that. and if it had rained, he would have been a winner. The 17 is got a lot of speed, and Matt and Chip are doing a nice job. I just hope that the races in front of them and the way they unfold won't wind up leaving them on the outside. I'm glad. I give my thanks to everybody in the media for not calling me about the race we had at Indianapolis, which was just a debacle. That was just a horrible race from an owner's point of view and a team's point of view, to be able to get down there and have to run those short stints and have the quarter panel come flying off your car on the same lap that 3 other cars on the track at that time had flat tire, had holes in their had worn their tires through the cord and were losing air. I mean, that's just a disaster. And to go through something like that and to wind up, as Carl said, second without the opportunity to get the 10 points to carrying the pace was a double frustration. I don't know what I would have said if somebody had called me last week, but I'm sure I'd have been apologizing for it today. But this coming to Pocono and having rain is one of the things we put up with the 2 times we come, and you can count on most of the time it's going to rain. And if it doesn't rain, fuel mileage will be real important. And if it does rain, sometimes fuel mileage will be important. So this is a place where the things unfold, and a crew chief's got to look into his crystal ball and decide, what's going to happen. And nobody knows for sure. And some of them are right, and sometimes they're right, and sometimes they're not. But there's just so much happenstance that works into this thing. When you have a race that unfolds like it did at Indianapolis, it just breaks your heart if you've got as much at stake as we all do.
Question here in the middle, then we'll go to David. Go ahead.
Matt Choquette, Times News. Speaking of Indy, Bob or Carl, how important was it today for your confidence, knowing that you didn't have to deal with that kind of situation again, and maybe the tire situation rebounded from last week?
Yeah, I mean, the deal is that, some weeks it might be the tires, and some weeks, it might be the weather or fuel mileage. I mean, everyone's in the same boat. So, to me, last week was something that nobody wanted to have to deal with, but we did. And, this week we had a whole new, different types of stresses. So that's just racing. It's the same for everyone.
We got David, then over here we got one upstairs, then we'll come back down. Go ahead, David.
Carl, you sounded a little surprised, I guess is the right word, when he mentioned saving fuel for you there at the end a little bit. A little, like it
Did they play that on?
Yeah.
Yeah, how's that? Bob says, so how much fuel you saved? It's like, what do you mean? Like, you didn't tell me to save fuel. Or I wasn't listening. I don't know. How close were we?
We were a 1-lap cushion. We were fine. I was just asking him to be a little conservative in case we needed green, white, checkered laps or something like that. Just being overly cautious.
And Bob and I were watching. I was there actually interfering with Bob a little bit on the stand, and I was a little anxious that if he went out and got himself a 7, 8, 9 seconds lead, and a caution came, or a late green, white, checker thing came, he might not have enough tire left as well as enough gas to be able to do it. So I was concerned as much about saving some tires as I was saving some gas, and some of that manifested itself in some anxiety that I introduced that was probably unnecessary.